And welcome to Talking Miners. Well, it's another week in the coronavirus pandemic. Here we are, I guess you can say so. Welcome to the show. Of course, it's going to be a fun one. Of course, we're going to have Max Milosek on. I'm going to just talk about, returning plans, stuff like that, and just a few other little things. Going to talk about NFL players being stupid, it seems like. Of course, you have to talk about Quinn Dunbar and I guess people like that. Man, it's a interesting week. I guess for the NFL and their PR division, I have to say so myself. We'll get to that later, but I guess let's just start off. Of course, just run through show notes again real quick. Of course, going to talk about this for the first time. Going to talk about NHL's return. Pierre LeBrun, he's been talking about that. NBA kind of also is discussing it. Of course, 7:45 segment. That is segment 2. Of course, going to have Max Milosek on. You have talk to him about, of course, the season ending early and stuff like that in the future, and of course, all that jazz. In segment 3, I'm going to talk about more, the stuff returning, stuff sports, and then Quinn Dunbar, of course, the armed robbery, which is a very interesting story, if I say so myself, from what I'm reading. And then we'll just wrap up the show in segment 4 and just do little catch-ups and stuff like that. So, all right, so stuff returning. NHL specifically, because it seems the most has been getting told to Pierre LeBrun. I can never say his name. I'm just going to refer to him as Pierre, the TSN guy who happens to know everything. It's been a very interesting few weeks, I guess, for seeing how things are going to return. I don't know exactly how to describe it. I'm mixed, to be honest, on how things are going to happen, supposedly, given the current plans. Of course, we've been through about 3, I believe, current plans with the NHL, how they're going to turn. First, it was, we're going to play hockey in North Dakota. We're going to play at a random rink in North Dakota. And then it's, we're going to have hub city for each division, and then it sounds like it may be, we'll have, each conference will have their own building. So, again, it's going to be interesting, to say so, just from what I've been reading. So I guess let's just discuss why it's going to be so interesting. 2014 playoff. That's right. 24 teams are going to get in to the NHL playoffs. Yeah, it doesn't really work. 16 teams, in my opinion, already feels a little too much. I feel like it allows for average at best teams, and in some cases, some actually bad but just good enough to get in teams to get into this tournament for the Stanley Cup. And here we are. I mean, 24 teams. I'm not checking the standings. I will say that I'll put, when I discuss this a little more. Well, I'll be discussing in a bigger chunk just about this. But still, we are probably going, if this 2014 playoff does happen, there are going to be teams with actual more losses than wins in the playoffs. That's kind of unacceptable. I mean, the playoffs is kind of the reward, you can say in air quotes, for teams coming. They did so well. We're number one. We did all this. Of course, for Tampa Bay, that was shown as, and you're not exactly going to always win, but still, it's setting a bad precedent. We're allowing teams with losses, and we're allowing teams who were average at best to enter in for a chance to win a very prestigious trophy within the hockey world. And here we are, 24 teams willy-nilly. Yeah, you get a playoff seeding, you get a playoff seeding, you get a playoff seeding. I mean, that's not... Again, that's how you are. Yeah, and I'll say this as a hockey fan and as an NHL fan. When the NHL is likely going to be number 5 very soon, MLS is gaining ground. You have stuff like, well, my team's just going to make the playoffs. They allow everyone in the playoffs. This is a bad idea. You're already having a potentially disastrous thing with the MLS gaining traction, and what's becoming likely is going to be, you're going to be at the bottom of the new Big Five when it comes to sports leagues in America. You're setting a possible precedent with 24 teams, with a very, very good chance that a team with a bad record can get in. And who says this doesn't get implemented in 2021? Everyone's going to say, oh, they're going to make sure it's a 1 year president. It's a 1 year president, But who says this doesn't go into play next year? I mean, let's be honest. We're all lying to ourselves, so we're saying some stuff is probably not going to be implemented into the future. I expect a lot of things, actually. I expect probably some of the. I won't say a lot, actually. I'll take that back. But I expect this to be testing ground for a couple of new ideas that we say, oh, well, it's coronavirus. We could use this. Like, say, I think full face shields are the future in the NHL. And here we are talking about it last week. Full face shields are going to be implemented for the entire, teams. I think that we'll have full face shields. So, who says playoff seeding isn't incorporated into next year? So I guess that's me as a fan just worrying because like I said earlier, you have a potential drop in how things are going to happen with MLS growing in popularity. I mean, we can't deny it. MLS is becoming extremely popular. You're already the number 4 of the Big Four. You're probably going to be number 5 in the Big Five when it comes to sports leagues. So I know I'm going in circles, but I guess what I'm trying to say is this is a bad idea. It should not be implemented. It shouldn't. It's. I don't. Why would you even think about this? I mean, you can say, well, there's not enough games. It's tied spots. We'll have play-in games. Say this is not an official playoff game. Say this is the play-in, and I am telling you, it would make fans a lot more happy because you can say, all right, let's take let's say 17 through 24. No, let's make this fair. Let's make it. I guess top 10 stay in. So if you're a top 10 seed currently in the NHL, you're good. But anything lower, we're gonna have playing games. So that'll make it 14. Well, see, this is this is why you shouldn't do stuff on the fly because I just now screwed myself because that would leave 7 teams for the playoffs. But still, I guess what I'm trying to say is there needs to be, I guess, care is a good word to say. And we shouldn't rush into making sure the season restarts. We make sure that this is going to be a positive in the future, that looks legitimate, because I've said so myself, that this is going to have, this Stanley Cup is going to have a big old asterisk next to it that says, won during the coronavirus pandemic. And everyone's going to point to it, whoever wins, and say, well, that's not a real Stanley Cup win. You just happen to fluke and get lucky. And I mean, who can deny that? That's the problem. So, I just, maybe it's me being super negative, but I just do not like that proposal. I think it's a bad idea. I think it sets a bad precedent, and I do not like how it will work in the future, because I see it happening in the future. I could see a 2014 playoff in 2021. I'll say it again. I think it would happen. So, all right. Time for a commercial break, but good news, we have Max Milosek on the next segment, so that's going to be a lot of fun going to talk to him about all of this and more. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Esports are here to stay. Go to jazzsports.ag, log into your account, and look for our new esports section on the top of your screen. Browse through all the different available matches and watch them live with our exclusive esports betting platform. Get instant access to game results, pending and graded bet reports, outright bet types, and upcoming match schedules, all at the easy reach of your fingertips. Jazz Sports puts you in the game.
Drinkade, ready for distribution worldwide.
Esports are here to stay. Go to jazzsports.ag, log into your account, and look for our new esports section on the top of your screen. Browse through all the different available matches and watch them live with our exclusive esports betting platform. Get instant access to game results, pending and graded bet reports, outright bet types, and upcoming match schedules, all at the easy reach of your fingertips. Jazz Sports puts you in the game.
Drinkade, ready for distribution worldwide.
Esports are here to stay. Go to jazzsports.ag, log into your account, and look for our new esports section on the top of your screen. Browse through all the different available matches and watch them live with our exclusive esports betting platform. Get instant access to game results, pending and graded bet reports, outright bet types, and upcoming match schedules, all at the easy reach of your fingertips. Jazz Sports puts you in the game.
Drinkade.
And welcome back to Talking Minors. I have a very, very special guest with me, the 2019 SPHL Finals President's Cup MVP, Max Milosek. Max, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Glad to be on here again.
No problem. Of course, you had come on earlier, but that was when we knew we had a season, and we thought we were going to actually play through it. I guess as a player's perspective, I believe it was I can't believe it's been this long, but mid-March, of course the SPHL ended the season due to this pandemic. I mean, what are your thoughts as a player?
I mean, it's obviously pretty crazy. I mean, not just for hockey players, but just everyone around the world. But I mean, when it first happened, you can't. It's kind of something you can't really believe. You're just like, what's going on? You can't wrap your head around it. But we heard the rumors about it for a few days after the Evansville game, and then we were just kind of hoping for the best. And obviously, it's a bigger picture than just hockey. So they had to end the season because they're looking out for the health of everyone. But it was pretty tough to deal with, honestly, for the first few weeks, and everyone pretty much had to get out of town quick, to try to get back home with the restrictions on Canada or people moving out of town and stuff like that. So it was hard to deal with, but now, like you said, it's been a few months now, and it's everyone's dealing with it at different times. So it's something you have to deal with, and everyone's dealing with, and it's something that you just kind of push forward through, and you're hoping for next season.
Oh yeah. So you mentioned next season. Of course, you made the Huntsville Havoc protection list. So I have to ask, are you going to be coming back as a Huntsville Havoc in 2020?
I mean, I just hope there's hockey by then. It's
oh yeah, I mean,
yeah. You're thinking, but yeah, if everything's going as planned, that's my plan. I had no idea about the protection. I didn't really talk to Glenn too much about it or anything like that. It just they had to make decisions so quick, and I'm happy to be on it. But I'll probably give it a shot at the East Coast again. Try to go at least to a training camp because I mean last year I got a good experience out of it, and got a good week of skating and before I had to come back down again. So try to do that, and if I guess if it happens, it happens. But if not, this is where I'll be.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, Kalamazoo, that was probably a very fun experience. But I guess let's talk about. I mean, I guess you've seen some of the ideas that if the NHL will return for their 2019-2020 season, what do you expect? I guess from these, do you think we could see this in the SPHL where that's wingers 2 feet apart, no spitting on ice, full face shields? Could we see that in the SPHL?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, I've read all those articles about that kind of stuff, and I mean, I think everyone's just kind of throwing ideas out at this point just to try to, make it as safe as possible for the players and everyone involved. But I think the SPs they're going to follow suit of the NHL, AHL, and the East Coast. Like all these leagues are going to follow the NHL from being the higher up, and I mean they're the ones pretty much running it. They're doing everything first, and that's kind of once our season ended was when all the other higher leagues ended, so we kind of had to follow suit. And I mean, I think it's going to be a lot of trial and error. I mean, we're not going to get it right away, but once they kind of figure that out and figure that kind of stuff out, they'll find something that works. But it's not going to be, well, in my eyes, 100% like perfect because I mean, it's just something that's so hard to deal with when you don't really know much about it. And like the spitting on the ice and stuff, like that's gonna be hard to contain. Like that's just a normal thing that hockey players do. So
I mean, oh yeah. I guess let's just discuss moving forward. You talked about could we even see hockey in 2020? If hockey does not return in 2020, what do you think happens? I hate to be the person that says, oh, doom and gloom, but what happens, I guess, for minor league hockey and hockey in general? I mean, in sports, do you think that we could see leagues, I guess, folding or going away? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
yeah, it's something that everyone's been talking about, and a lot of players are talking about it because that's our job throughout the year. It's, you're trying to find a spot to go, and I mean, I think Huntsville's pretty secure with how well we do down here, but I mean, there's some other teams in the league that I can see that I don't know if it lasts so long, I don't know if they'll be able to keep it going because they barely break even during the year, and I mean even in the East Coast, like we do way better than a lot of East Coast teams like financially, and I mean I don't know all the details of all that, but you can just tell by the way it goes, and yeah, I think for sure that there'll be teams that take a big hit, or they might not even be teams anymore, which is unfortunate. But you never really know until that point happens. You know.
I have to agree. Also, this is, I guess, a big financial hit, and of course unexpected. I mean, with there's different times where you can at least expect something, but this is so out of the blue. I just wonder how everyone's going to survive. So very tough times. But let's move on. Let's talk about the NHL. I guess you heard about the 2014 playoffs. As a hockey guy, I'm against it. What are your thoughts on a 2014 playoff for the NHL?
I think it'll be interesting and fun to watch, but it's something that is it's kind of goofy. There's 24 teams, so it's but if it makes it work where there can be playoffs, I think that'll be good for it. But that's a lot of like uncertain. I guess at the end of the year, like when you're looking at playoffs and like a true champion, I don't know if you can get that true like champion because that's not normally how playoffs would go. It's kind of weird, but I mean, if I was in the NHL and I'm fighting for a championship and that's what they say we can do, I'm sure I'd be pretty pumped about it, especially if you're one of the teams that are normally not going to make the playoffs and you get a chance there, anything can happen. So I think it'll ramp up the playoffs and it'll be even better than ever.
I get what you're saying about being a goofy. I was talking about it earlier last segment. I mean, let's say, I mean, I guess this is, of course, a common criticism of the SPHL playoffs, but you have teams with, of course, negative records getting in, and it just, it finds, it desaturates it, and it just doesn't work at all. So,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I definitely agree. Like, I don't like when, like, even in any sport, like when I see, or like baseball, when I see a team that's under 500 making playoffs, it doesn't really make sense to me. Because I mean, you don't really have a winning record, but like I said, anything can happen in playoffs. But I always thought, playoffs are, should be the best teams, and the teams with the best records should be in the playoffs. So that's why. But I mean, if it's just for like the NHL and it's just for 1 year and they have to do this, then I'm cool with it. But I mean, if that was the case every year, I'd be pretty upset with it.
Oh yeah, that's my fear. I'm afraid that this is going to, because you can have the owner saying, "Well, my team made it last year. Why can't we make it this year?" That's just my big fear when it comes to it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the off season. What do you have coming in with this? I guess COVID summer almost during this. I guess now planned takeoff time from hockey.
I mean, not much right now. It's since the season's ended, I've took a few weeks off of no working out, basically nothing, and just kind of like hanging out 'cause you couldn't really do much, and I mean you still really can't. But yeah, I just besides that, I'm just kind of waiting for things to open up. I'm still in Huntsville. I'm still waiting for ice to get open and stuff like that, and then I'm going home. I think until or June if everything works out to visit my mom for her birthday and then a bachelor party that's supposed to happen, but I don't know if you can't really plan too far ahead because you don't really know what's going to happen. But I'm just trying to take it, day by day, and like I said, hopefully things open up here soon and I can get some training when I go home, and then I'll come back down here and still train, work, and then work out, and then get ready for next season if it's scheduled on time. If not, then I'm gonna have to get some skates in somewhere else if there's no ice, or go home for a little bit because there's normally a lot of ice in Michigan. So
Oh yeah, I feel you. I understand what you're talking about. Of course, I guess for people who don't live in Huntsville, the Iceplex is of course Havoc players to train at, and then, of course there's the Havoc practice at, which is it's currently closed for renovation. It was supposed to be closed till September. VBC was supposed to host ice, and then now that is I guess off the rails, as you can say.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I heard it still might happen, but it's just gonna be a lot later than anticipated. So it's COVID's putting everything on a standstill, and I mean it's not too big of a deal, especially since even if the season did start on time, it's still not too late September, early October camps. So I mean, still got a lot of time to get on the ice, but I skate a decent amount normally in the summer, but not like nothing too crazy, and so I mean I'd always take a few months off anyways, and it's just kind of like a once a week kind of thing I need to get on, especially being a goalie. It's a little bit different than getting on ice and being a player. You gotta get your timing back and everything like that. But as long as there's ice before camp, I should be fine.
Oh yeah, there should be without problem. So, I guess let's go. I guess let's just reminisce about the glory days when we had sports. I have to ask this question. This is something I have to ask the players a lot. Favorite place to play that's not home within for this question, let's say within the SPHL that's not Huntsville. Favorite place to play.
Okay. We were actually talking about this the other day. All the guys that are still here, and best place. I mean, I guess it depends if you're staying or like a road trip, but I always like playing in Birmingham just because it's such a good rival. I mean, no matter what their record was this year, even though they had a better record my first year, there was still every game was pretty tough against them, or it was always pretty heated. They didn't like a lot of us like trash, or they didn't like me to just I don't know if just because I've done well. I don't think I've done anything to make them mad, yelling at them or anything like that. But Birmingham's always a fun place to go. It's close to home, so you don't have to travel too far. Besides that, I like going to Pensacola. I don't know, they're always real tough games. They're always fun to play in. And I think those two are the top two, and then the one rink I can't really stand or going to is Macon. I can't stand that road trip, and just the atmosphere. They haven't pulled too many fans, and every game we go there is kind of just a gritty, kind of slower game. And I like the fast-paced games, like I said, like against Birmingham. There's two fast teams or fast-paced teams going at it.
I have to say that you are probably 100% right on Macon, but what you said about Birmingham is completely correct. As a Huntsville fan, I say this as someone who loves the SPHL, but Birmingham is a crazy city. I have to tell this story. It was Game 1 finals last year in Birmingham. Was you might remember this, but Ryan was in the penalty box, and someone, I think it was either him or Tyler, I can't remember, but I was right by the Havoc penalty box, and someone poured beer on him, and it was unbelievable. It was crazy. It was just.
That was I think that was Ryan. I think that was he was telling a story about that, and I mean that's not something that's going to happen too much in nowadays in hockey. It's all kind of contained, but I mean you look at the videos of the old school like Don Cherry videos or all those videos back then. There was stuff like that happening all the time, or stories about my dad. He said played in Canada a few times and they didn't like the Americans and they were throwing beer bottles at them and stuff like that. But yeah, that's I don't know. I guess it was just the heated up game. It was the finals, and the fan wanted to get into his head somehow, but it didn't really work out too well for them.
Oh, it was great. I love Birmingham. I love the city, but it was just a great. He never. I guess someone has said this accurately about Birmingham and Huntsville. Huntsville is more of an NHL-like presentation. It's very clean. It's very showy. Birmingham is full on old school. It's that small arena, packed. There's no multiple sections. It's two different areas, and I guess that it shows that old school mentality, and I guess people love that, which is great to see. All right.
Yeah, no, it's fun to play in too. It's always loud there, especially with the Havoc fans, and like you said, it's a smaller rink. You kind of feels like when I played juniors, but there's a lot more fans, so it's real hostile too. But it's fun. It gets you ready for the game.
Oh yeah, it's as a Havoc fan, I can say I agree. It's very hostile in there. All right, last question. What have you been doing so far with your videos? Because you are an avid gamer. Fortnite, Warzone. What have you been playing?
A lot of Fortnite when I switched over to PC. So like I have my Xbox, but I don't get on it much really anymore. My girlfriend will play that, but with Fortnite, I switched over because that was the game for a while, and I was like, all right, I'm pretty good at controller. Like, I'm going to switch over, and it runs a lot smoother on the PC. And then Warzone came out, and that kind of took over at the right time, especially with the quarantine. And I was like, all right, I got to jump on this train here. And my brother got it, so I can talk to him because I don't get to talk to him too much. So he gets on and plays with me. And it's been a lot of Warzone. And then there's a few other games on the PC that we play. And then Epic Games actually just released Grand Theft Auto for free for like a week. So I just downloaded that the other day, and I'm playing that a little bit and having some fun with some buddies, and it's getting a little bit bigger again because I remember I used to play that a lot and kind of drifted away. So, but mainly it's Call of Duty Warzone. It's the game to play right now.
Oh, I have to say so. I have to agree with that. It's a very fun game. All right, where can people find you if they want to see your, I guess, enjoyable? I have to say it's a very fun Twitter account to follow in. Where can people find you at?
Twitter is, I believe it's Max Milosic 34, and Instagram might be there, might just be Max Milosic. I don't know if the 34 is at it. I think it's the same on both. And on Twitter, I don't take it too far. I mean, I have a few times back in the day, but grew up a little bit. But I like to have fun and interact with some fans or people that are tweeting at me, or even if it's the rival fans or whatever the case may be. But I'm never going to go too far, chirp them, take it out of control. I just like to have fun with it because, I mean, they're doing the same thing and trying to get something out of it. So I might as well have some fun with it, and, it's all in good fun.
Oh, yeah. It's always fun to mess with people. So, Max, thank you for coming on the show, and people will be right back in just a few minutes.
Esports are here to stay. Go to jazzsports.ag, log into your account, and look for our new esports section on the top of your screen. Browse through all the different available matches and watch them live with our exclusive esports betting platform. Get instant access to game results, pending and graded bet reports, outright bet types, and upcoming match schedules, all at the easy reach of your fingertips. Jazz Sports puts you in the game.
Drinkade, ready for distribution worldwide.
Esports are here to stay. Go to jazzsports.ag, log into your account, and look for our new esports section on the top of your screen. Browse through all the different available matches and watch them live with our exclusive esports betting platform. Get instant access to game results, pending and graded bet reports, outright bet types, and upcoming match schedules, all at the easy reach of your fingertips. Jazz Sports puts you in the game.
Drinkade, ready for distribution worldwide.
Esports are here to stay. Go to jazzsports.ag, log into your account, and look for our new esports section on the top of your screen. Browse through all the different available matches and watch them live with our exclusive esports betting platform. Get instant access to game results, pending and graded bet reports, outright bet types, and upcoming match schedules, all at the easy reach of your fingertips. Jazz Sports puts you in the game.
Drinkade, ready for distribution worldwide.
And welcome back. I guess let's talk about the PR disaster for the NFL this weekend. I believe it was 4 players were arrested. And then let's talk about something I didn't really talk about last week, which was Earl Thomas. I'm just going to discuss that quickly before moving on to talk about sports leagues returning and stuff like that. Let's talk about DeAndre Baker and Quinton Dunbar. So this is from NFL Updates. Of course, decent, reliable site. But this is, of course, with a police report, so it's very much verifiable. So the basic gist of this is I can't stop laughing because, I mean, these players were not just like 7th round practice squad players. These were actual starters, and why would you do this? I find it amazing. Basically on May 13th, Dunbar and Baker were at a cookout. Supposedly, it's likely also what happened is there might have been some card games going on, and of course, they can't exactly pay for everything, or at least the people who, lost cannot pay their dues for the buy-ins and such. So then this, I can't read this without laughing because it's like, why would you do this? Supposedly, the argument broke out, and Baker took out a semi-automatic fire. This is serious, and I can't stop laughing. It's so absurd. This feels like an Onion article, yet it's real. This is all real. So Baker took out a semi-automatic firearm, and They robbed everyone at the cookout. This is just amazing. Yeah. So there's two NFL players robbing people. They took a Rolex, had a $18,000, a Hublot at $25,000, and then a very much I think a European watch at $17,500. And then this is the best part of the article: a knockoff Richard Mille for $600. The victims alleged they had $12,800 in cash also stolen. So this is what makes me think it's a card game that was happening instead of not just a random cookout. Because there's just too much valuables here, and just over 12 grand in cash. Yeah, there's something up. And then here's the other thing. Let me see if I can find it in the article. But it basically states that they used their Lamborghinis and such in the robbery as getaway cars. Like this feels like something out of a movie, a very bad B movie that should, or maybe like a terrible YouTube series. Like this doesn't make sense. Why would you do this? It's just been interesting to say so. I can't believe this is real still. This is a real story. People supposedly did this according to the police. This next is also very interesting because Quinton Dunbar, who supposedly is the mastermind behind all this, he got, I believe it's 4 of the witnesses. Hold on. This is again from NFL Update. They had 4 witnesses come in and do a it was basically, hang on, let me just pull the quote. Completely untrue, at least as it applies to Mr. Dunbar. Greco, who's Dunbar's lawyer, said Mr. Dunbar was not with Mr. Baker at any point within the week or weeks prior. I think there has been a complete mischaracterization as to the nature of their relationship, which is not as close as been betrayed, at least initially. I can tell you that their wires have crossed on that one. I've already advised law enforcement that they have completely mistaken all that. So it's just, this is a weird. And then also, like, I believe it's Baker. Supposedly he has like 4 of the witnesses coming through and writing statements saying, yeah, he didn't do anything. It's just insane. It's a unique set of circumstances, if you can say so. This feels unnatural and very, again, strange and unreal. Oof. Now let's talk about another NFL PR problem. Defensive tackle Ed Oliver arrested on DUI and weapons charge. So a Buffalo Bills player in Houston, not a great combination if you're a Bills player, I would say so. Basically drunk driving with a weapon. Again, not great. Why would you do that? I just have to feel for the NFL PR. I mean, come on. Why would you do that? All right. But let's talk about Earl Thomas. I didn't talk about this last week because I feel like one more to come in and before I give a full statement on it. It's also going to be very interesting to describe the events of what happened. So I believe it was the 6th that the report started coming out. I believe it was from TMZ that Earl Thomas, his wife, was had a domestic violence charge against her. Not Earl Thomas, but his wife. So that was very strange for a lot of people. So people started reading into what happened. Well, his wife caught him doing, I guess, let's explain, before I say what he got caught doing. Again, it's a very absurd story. I shouldn't be laughing at this. These are very serious matters, yet it's so absurd that sometimes you can't believe it's real. But I guess let's just start from the beginning of the story. His wife was using Snapchat to kind of track Earl. Earl had gone out with his brother to supposedly just go, party, just do things with his brother. Well, his wife caught him on Snapchat with the wonderful Snapchat map, and he was with another woman. So what his wife did is she took the Earl's pistol, he grabbed a friend, and they busted in with Earl and his brother and another woman in bed. This is all from TMZ, by the way. I'm not making up any of this. This is all supposedly very real. And, after catching Earl, had her friend recording the entire incident. And to top it off, she had Earl's pistol, like I said. She unloaded all the bullets. She thought the magazine was empty. I'm going to shoot you, Earl. And then she had she kind of messed up because she had one in the chamber still. And apparently she was acting like she was going to pull the trigger, and she had the gun right next to Earl Thomas's head. So, I don't think a lot of gun safety classes were listened to when it came to Earl Thomas's wife. And so that's, I guess, the story of how Earl Thomas's wife got a domestic violence charge after catching Earl in bed with another woman with his brother. So, interesting. Very interesting. All right. Let's talk about sports returning and just a few other little things like that. So, like I stated earlier, NHL is returning. It's probably more than likely. I expect the NBA to return also. I expect their season to happen in playoffs. The problem is we don't know for both leagues. Will the regular season resume? If so, how many games will there be? Where will they be played? And things like that. But I guess something to help, leagues inch into playing again. Of course, New York and California were two of the states with the biggest, hotspots for the pandemic. They are now saying that, beginning of June, they will allow leagues to play, but not in front of fans. You just get to use your stadium. Of course, built perfectly for everything. So that does raise up one issue. You can mention specifically for, New York. Let's just say for all the teams that are going to be playing at the same time, because it's likely that the NHL and NBA will be playing at the same time when they resume their seasons. The problem is hub cities. It's very likely that we will have 2 to 3 cities be the hub cities for the new leagues. So the spread, if it does happen, can be limited to just a few areas. And so, who says, LA is not going to be a hub city for the NBA and for the NHL? Now, luckily, the NBA, well, they're not as lucky, but the NHL, they have Anaheim and they have Staples Center. For LA, of course, they have the Forum, possibly, but that's kind of weird. And then they have Staples Center. So, there's just a couple issues pointing out that, where are these hub cities going to be? Will these teams play in their home cities respectively, or will they play in, these areas where, you're going to have, I know you're going to have these arguments, like, the floor should be this, just have the standard, let's just talk about for the NBA right now. The hardwood should just have the NBA logo, no other logo on it. Just don't even include the home team logo. For the NHL, you're going to have it. Just have it be the NHL logo in the middle of the ice. No, we're not, just because you're special and got picked doesn't mean you should have your ice, your logo flashed around on ice. Because you're going to have the owners bickering and arguing about that. So, there we are. So, I guess let's talk about MLB real quick. Of course, they have their it looks like June 10th we're going to get spring training return. It looks like everyone's going to return to their stadiums, spring training areas. It looks like all the states are going to be happy with it. So, happy fans, I guess you can say. Of course, spring training will last until June 31st. I believe it's June 30th. And then, of course, the season starts July 1st. Of course, America's pastime gets to go ahead and start on the 4th of July weekend, which is very poetic, if I must say so myself. So, not a big deal. Of course, it looks likely that fans are not going to be in stadiums, but for how long, we don't know, because it looks, I guess, as a optimist, it looks like every day there's less and less cases, or at least less and less spread. and now we can say possibly, all right, can we allow fans back into arenas? Can we allow them in close? I guess people in general, can they go into close contact areas? So I think everyone's kind of finger crossing for September in that area. So that would be good for baseball that their playoffs do, have fans that can watch. So that'd be nice again. But who knows? This, like it was stated earlier, these are kind of crazy times. Everything seems a little unpredictable, and who knows? So again, unpredictable times lead to very unpredictable things. So about MLB real quick. The more and more, I hate this because of course my local team, the Trash Pans, we're going to start this season. Brand new team, of course, came in from Mobile. I think it's going to be very likely that there's going to be no MILB season, and that's going to probably, I guess, for contraction, of course, that's been something that's been discussed here on this program. That can be either a good thing or a bad thing. It could mean that teams that were just going, I guess the fittest will survive is going to kind of apply here and say, all right, teams who, be a little more financially weak are going to probably leave, probably maybe go down, or possibly just fold in general. So that, again, it's going to be very interesting because I expect at least minor league baseball will not be playing this season. That is my full prediction at this point. I don't even think we're going to have at least a very short 3-month season to say, oh, we played, but here we are. All right. We're going to take a break. 5 minutes. We'll be right back. Final segment of the show. Wrap it all up. Again, 5 minutes. Be right there.
Esports are here to stay. Go to jazzsports.ag, log into your account, and look for our new esports section on the top of your screen. Browse through all the different available matches and watch them live with our exclusive esports betting platform. Get instant access to game results, pending and graded bet reports, outright bet types, and upcoming match schedules, all at the easy reach of your fingertips. Jazz Sports puts you in the game.
Drinkade, ready for distribution worldwide.
Esports are here to stay. Go to jazzsports.ag, log into your account, and look for our new esports section on the top of your screen. Browse through all the different available matches and watch them live with our exclusive esports betting platform. Get instant access to game results, pending and graded bet reports, outright bet types, and upcoming match schedules, all at the easy reach of your fingertips. Jazz Sports puts you in the game.
Drinkade, ready for distribution worldwide.
Esports are here to stay. Go to jazzsports.ag, log into your account, and look for our new esports section on the top of your screen. Browse through all the different available matches and watch them live with our exclusive esports betting platform. Get instant access to game results, pending and graded bet reports, outright bet types, and upcoming match schedules, all at the easy reach of your fingertips. Jazz Sports puts you in the game.
Drinkade, ready for distribution worldwide.
Alright, final segment of the show. Let's just wrap up a few things. I guess let's talk about first Battle Creek Not So Dead Rumblebees. Of course, I believe it was the 13th. The FPHL website was updated. No more Battle Creek Rumblebees, which was not a surprise at all. Abysmal record, abysmal team, abysmal attendance. Everything was terrible. I do have to say I do not blame them for a lot of the failures, because they only had 2 months to basically prepare for everything. So, kind of you hate to see it, but still. However, Battle Creek Not So Dead Rumblebees might be moving. It looks like relocation is in the cards. So just have to wait and see. But goalies of the FPHL. Of course, a good little FPHL bomb every once in a while from him. Go follow him at of FPHL. He 14th. He dropped that the course the Battle Creek Rumblebees could be still alive, which was very interesting to hear. I wonder if it's going. Of course, this is probably just all talks and everything. And I know nothing's 100%, nothing on paper, but still very interesting to see. I think it could happen. I do think at this time, because there's still 10 teams. There's probably, I expect 11 and 12, because the FPHL does have to of course beat the SPHL sometimes when it comes to more teams and easier access to broadcast of games. So interesting to see. I hope it happens. I hope another town does get hockey, because I think Battle Creek, a lot of thoughts, but still, I guess it's time to leave them alone for a while to see what happens and see if any wounds heal from that disaster of a team. All right, last thing. It's a good old fashioned laugh at Birmingham time, I guess you can say. I'm gonna show this the tweet that originally showed it, but the Bulls have been updating their Facebook to, I guess, reflect some new logos and word marks. And these are very bad. Of course, the first one is, I'll describe it. It's basically the color inverted logo. The white is now black, and anything black besides the Bulls' face is now white. There's a lot of gray. It's a lot of red outlines. It looks hard. It's hard on the eyes. It's not fun to look at. And the new word mark, I don't laugh at it as much, but it's super thin. I'll retweet it when the show is over, but it's like super thin on the top. It just says Birmingham. It's really thin. Then it says Bulls. It's like Bulls. And it's all big and it's all fat. And you just look at the Bulls part. You don't see where's the team located? It just says Bulls. And that's not how you do a logo. That's I have to say this is not a great pick of a logo. I've chosen something a little more better, in my opinion. I would have. As someone who likes the white old-fashioned logo, of course from the WHA days, I think I would have stuck to it. I think they have fine jerseys. I like them. I think they're a little bit of a Havoc ripoff, but still, that's not the way to go, my friends. Ugh. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to tonight's Talking Miners. I hope you had a good time. I'd like to thank Max Milosek for, of course, coming in and talking about everything. And just thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great week. If you want to find me on Twitter, just look up Minor League Rando. If you're watching it, it's the same. The avatar's the logo, but with a mask. And that's it. Thank you again for tuning in, and tune in next week for some more fun sports talk.